All right. Just to understand how the positive and negative slopes and what do they represent means, I've just made up this example. So this is a scenario where I'm saying that I am going for a walk, and this right here, the start time is basically where my home is. Okay, so this is my home, and this is me going out for a walk, and I am going to go, and you can see over here, this represents my distance, and the other is time. So as time is going by, as time starts to go, I'm going away from my home. So I'm going away from my home. So this is me walking away from my home. That's what this first section represents. And then I stop here, and then all of a sudden this next purple section is showing me again walking away from my, still going away from home. Okay, and then at this point you'll notice the time is still going on, but I have stopped moving. Okay, so the distance hasn't changed. So it's the same distance, time goes by, tick tock, the time's going by, but I haven't moved. And then you can see me going backwards. So what does this represent? So this represents me going from my house right here, and I take a certain amount of time. You can see that I am going very fast. How do you know I'm going fast? Because the slope is very steep. And then you can see a little decline in the slope. So that means now I'm probably tired and I'm going slower. And you can see that with a much less steeper slope. And then the flat slope represents zero slope. Zero slope means I have stopped moving here. Okay, so there's no rate of change. So slope here indicates change, the distance that I travel in a certain time. You can see whatever distance I was at this point, for next little while it's the same distance. So I'm just sitting there, I'm not moving. Okay, and then I realize, okay, I have to get back home soon. So you can see that this is now, the distance is declining. So this is a negative slope. So that means I am coming back. It's showing a reverse in direction. I'm going backwards now. Okay, but this is very, very steep. So it's much steeper than my first two original slopes. That means this is very fast. Okay, so even though these are both are positive slopes, they're just indicating, the positive direction is just indicating me going away from home. This is a negative slope, but this indicates that I am returning back to that starting point when the distance was zero, right? I am back at the zero line right here. And this is probably the fastest speed that I've had getting back home. So sometimes a negative slope can be a fastest slope. Just because it has a negative in front of it does not mean that we're going the slowest. So if I was to calculate the value of each one of them, I would get the highest value here, even though it would be a negative number. And I would get a zero here, meaning I've stopped. And the slowest speed you can probably see are between these 2 points, because I am pretty close to a flat slope, but I'm walking probably very slowly. So a positive slope just means going away from one direction. So that's just going up this way. A negative slope is just coming back in the other direction. So sometimes you can see it like this. So on a graph, that just means it's pretty high speed, but it's just in the other direction. Okay, whereas a flat slope just means zero slope, meaning no speed.